I have two watches here. I have this watch, which is a Bulova. I paid about $300 for a couple years ago. And then I have this watch, which is a Rolex GMT Master 2, which I paid around $10,000 for. Now I have a question for you. There's a purpose to these two watches. Both of these watches have the same two functions. They tell me the time and they tell me the day of the month. So my question to you is, why is one of these watches $200 and one of them $10,000? Along with that, why is this watch already decreased in value about 50% in value in just 2 years? And why has this watch increased about 25% in value in the past 6 to 8 months? If you know the answer to this, you probably already run a successful e-commerce business and very, very profitable Facebook ads. If you don't know the answer to this in detail, then you need to watch this video, because understanding this principle in why these companies can charge such a substantial difference for the same functions, and why one of these appreciates in value and one depreciates in value. Understanding the concept behind that and the principles behind that literally took my businesses from failing, my e-commerce businesses from losing money to turning 6 figures a month, and in the next month, most likely 7 figures a month. In the next 3 to 5 minutes, I'm gonna break down this principle for you, and you're gonna understand why you need to start charging more for your products and the 4 key aspects that you need to implement as soon as possible. Right before we get into it though, if you can do me a huge favor and hit that like button, it's greatly appreciated and it really helps on my YouTube channel. If you're new and you like these type of videos, you wanna learn how to build a successful e-commerce business, hit subscribe, and then also check out Full-Time Ecom, which is linked down in the description. So right now, I'm gonna break down the principles that literally took my business from failing to generating 6 figures and close to 7 figures per month in the next 3 to 5 minutes. Let's do it. Before we jump into it, I wanna give you guys a quick store update. So this is, there we go, focused. So since April, 587,000 in revenue on this store, and the goal is to have that over 7 figures in the next 3 weeks. So I just want to give you a progress update since my last video, since some people have been asking me, and yeah, show you what's been going on. So with that said, what I'm about to break down on this whiteboard here in the next 3 to 5 minutes can and will take your business from failing or doing okay to succeeding or doing extremely well. And it all comes down to the initial question I asked you. Why is this watch 10,000 and this watch 300? There's a strategy behind this, and it's the strategy that I use for all of my own businesses and clients to get them to a point where we are charging more than competitors, doing better than competitors, and eventually putting competitors out of business. And this is how. I've never actually taken this out of my head and put it on paper, so I'm really extremely excited to do this and share this with you. First, we need to give it a name, and I kind of thought of one here as I was just speaking. So let me give it a name here. It's going to be revolutionary. It's going to be called the Pondir Nitro Pricing Strategy. Why Nitro? Because I saw it here on my Nitro cold brew label. So we're going to go with this. Sounds cool. This is the Pondir Nitro Pricing Strategy. And this strategy here is a game changer. The process of actually taking a business from failing to succeeding with this concept and the strategy starts with one aspect: working backwards. And let me show you how to do that. So get out a piece of paper, get out this tool. It's free, AWW board. Just Google it, completely free, and do this with me. Here's what I need you to do. First, type out your product and your price. Okay, so for my example, I'm going to use the Rolex GMT Master 2, and it's $10,000. So type out, this is your product right here. Type out the price and the name of the product. On the other hand, type out your competitor and their price. So for my example, I'm using Bulova, $300. Now you have yourself and your target price, what you want to sell at to generate the most profit, and your competitor and what they're currently selling at and generating some success with. So you have this here. And now we want to start working backwards. The best place to start is by breaking down the features of the product. Are there any features in these two watches that really cause this substantial price difference? Well, let's think about it. So what do? I mean, they tell the date, or let's do time and date. And I mean, it's the same for each of us, right? So go ahead and break this down like this. So, and also what I would recommend doing is labeling this for yourself. That way, at the end, you'll have a strategy built out. You'll have the Pondir Nitro pricing strategy if you follow along exactly as I'm doing right now. There we go. So we have the features now. Both of them have time and date, right? Well, is there anything else that the Rolex has that, you know, the Bulova doesn't? Yeah, sure. I mean, it's mechanical, whereas Bulova is a quartz. And basically, if you're not a watch person, mechanical is a little bit more expensive. But you can still get mechanical watches under $100. So this isn't huge. This isn't a big factor in the price difference. I mean, what else? So handmade, hand put together, and this isn't. So that's another factor. But once again, let's be realistic. It's not costing them in labor $10,000 to make this watch. So we have the features listed out now. List out all the features that you have and your competitor have. Let's keep working backwards. What's the next aspect that is extremely important? It comes down to branding. Let's think about branding. Boom. Okay. So branding. I mean, Bulova, sure. You know, they have a nice logo. It's good. It's good, right? It's okay. It's nice logo. Okay website. I've been on their website. So go to your competitor, break down what they're doing. Is it very nice? Is their website extremely custom designed? Is it highly branded? You know, Bulova is okay. Break down their branding. You can also go as further deep as like the colors. So, I mean, Bulova's white logo, not too sophisticated or anything like that. Rolex is also a white logo, but the crown, right? So it's like the crown, extreme high quality renders. If you go to their website, the renders of their products are phenomenal. You cannot tell that they're not real. And maybe they are real. That's how good they are. So high quality renders, they invested a ton of money into showing details of their products via computer generated images. High quality renders, the crown logo. But once again, right, the branding isn't substantially different. And even if you look up close, right, so if you look, I don't know if this is going to focus. There we go. Like, it's not a $10,000 difference once again. So let's keep breaking this down. Branding is definitely important, right? But it's not a $10,000 difference. So what's the next aspect? It comes down to marketing. And both companies definitely do market. But this is where it starts to get interesting. Let's think about the marketing Bulova does. Well, I mean, the first one that comes to my head is they were the first TV commercial ever. First ever TV advertisement back in like 1949. If you search on YouTube, first ever TV commercial, you'll see a 3-second ad from Bulova that says, the world runs on Bulova time. And that's it. Pretty revolutionary stuff. I mean, first TV commercial, pretty impressive. But like since then, you know, that was 70 years ago. What have they really done? Not much. Really not too much. The average person doesn't know Bulova, right? The average person knows Rolex. Everyone knows what Rolex is. Along with that, this is where it gets interesting. Not only does everyone know, but when you think of Rolex, there's a perceived value to it. There's a perceived symbol, a status quo of success.
right? Because that's how they do their marketing. Their marketing is always with successful people, athletes, musicians, celebrities. The majority of quote unquote successful in the terms of monetary success, successful people have a Rolex. And that's who you see wearing them. There's a perceived value to it. Bulova does not have that. You don't see anyone showing off their Bulova watch, right? Along with that, I believe it was a crazy number. Rolex spent anywhere from in 2019, and do your own research because I might be a little bit off. It was somewhere in the range of 20 mil to 50 million on marketing, literally on ad spend last year. Rolex spent 20 million to 50 million dollars. What did Bulova do? Not much. So, and this is where it gets really good. And what I highly recommend doing is continue to break this down. Break down every single aspect. You can go as far as doing like copywriting. For example, you go on Rolex's website, copywriting is phenomenal. You go on Bulova's website, copywriting, there's not too much copywriting. Sure, there's stuff on the webpage, but I wouldn't consider it high quality copywriting. And so you can continue doing this process, and that's what I recommend you doing. Breaking down every single aspect. You can go into email flows. You can go into advertising funnels. The internet gives you every single tool that you need to break down every aspect of a competitor's business. So when you see that your competitor is doing whatever they're doing, now you need to think, how can I get to the price point that I want versus what they have? And this is the process that I use every time. I break it down like this, and then I list off my own. So I literally just go through and do it better. And for example, the current product I'm selling, the features, sure, they're relatively similar, but there was a lack of quality. So under my competitors, there was no really high quality standards. So what did I do? In my features, I included these high quality standards. Boom. There's a bit of an increase, right? So now I can sell it for a little bit more, but not a ton more. So then I go down to branding. My competitor's branding was really, really, really bad. Literally plain with like some text on it. Looked like it was made in Microsoft Paint. So what did we do? We spent about 2 months on branding before we even launched anything. Came up with 16 different brand names, tested those, figured out the best brand name, came up with color schemes. We just paid a substantial amount of money for renders, for animations, for every aspect of branding. We placed a huge emphasis on. So now, boom, okay, now we can sell this for even more than what our competitors were. And when it comes to features, depending on what, you can probably increase price 10 to 20% depending on what features you implement. Branding, probably, no joke, 20 to 30% increase depending on how good your branding is. You can do a price increase. Marketing. Our competitors had no marketing going for the current product that we're selling. They had, okay, I shouldn't say none, but they had a little bit, but nowhere near what we were planning. So what did we do? We started out figuring out exactly where our customers were, what groups they're in, what websites they're on. And we are in every corner of the internet now. You cannot, if you go to our website, you are going to see us on every single future website that you visit on the internet. So with marketing, we are now able to, once again, increase our price another 30% because we have very, very high quality marketing that takes people through a customer journey from cold to warm. And we also advertise to our existing customers so we retain them. And that's what Rolex does. People, when someone buys a Rolex, they usually end up buying a few more because it's a collection. They fall in love with the marketing. Now look at this. If we do everything perfect here, we've increased our price versus a competitor by 80%. In the marketing, if you're able to do what Rolex does, you can get up to like 10,000% increases. You can do all this. Boom, copywriting. Depending on how good your copy is, you see another 10% increase. This is the strategy that I use. I start with an end goal in mind with a price. I break down my competitors. I compare side by side, and I identify what can be done better. By implementing this strategy right here and figuring out your end goal first, you are going to be able to build a successful business and successful ads because you have everything right here that you need to charge more, build a better customer experience. With that said, If you follow me on Instagram, you can do that at Dylan Business. I posted a story the other day. Our customer feedback score on Facebook right now is 4.9 out of 5. And we charge 45% more than our closest competitor. How are we doing that? This right here. This is the secret to a successful e-commerce business in ads. The Pondir Nitro pricing strategy. I love that name, actually. This is my strategy I use. I just shared it to you for free. So if you can do me the favor, and if you haven't yet, hit the like button, subscribe. And also, if you want to learn my strategies in detail, actually see how I implement this step by step, link to full-time ecom is down below. The application is on that page. If you get approved, you can get access to my entire brain in a step-by-step format. With that said, and if you made it to this part of the video, you are amazing. Thank you for watching all of it. I appreciate you. And I'm going to see you in the next one. If you have any feedback, any suggestions for future videos, any topics or questions, I answer every question in the comments right below this video. So go ahead and drop it there. And Dylan, out.